Hello, welcome to week 2, the second ever Brew Friday. Coincidentally, also Flannel Friday today, because I decided it should be. We had a lot of great questions this week. I'm looking forward to answering these. For those of you who don't get your questions answered, I'm going to keep them on reserve for another week where we might not get as many, because there were some really good ones. It was actually very hard to choose which ones I was going to answer today. But I do have a couple. I want to get right into that now, and I hope this helps you guys out. First question, Brew Friday question. I've been working out steady for about 8 months on the same routine. I'm averaging a solid pound a month of muscle. Is there any reason to switch up my routine or do different exercises to target the same muscle groups? If so, how often should you consider changing up your routine? Great question. Very interesting question, because that's usually the opposite of what or what I have seen with most people who have been training for a while. A lot of people tend to program hop. They have these goals that they set for themselves one week, and by a week or two later, they change their goals or do a different program. This one isn't working, I'm going to change it up, I'm going to try this. So that's usually what I see. In your case, you are saying that you are seeing or you're still seeing consistent progress. We're still gaining about a pound or so a week of muscle. That's fantastic. If you are having a good time and making some gains while doing that, I would say keep doing it. Now, there's a couple things that you can think about as a side note to that if you are getting the feeling you should maybe change it up. First, are you bored? Are you just going through the motions and not really enjoying the workout anymore, but it's still working? I wouldn't expect that to be the case, but it happens. And so if you are getting bored, then yeah, change it up. There's nothing wrong with that. There's an old strength training quote that goes, the best program for, we're paraphrasing this, the best program for muscle growth, whatever, is the one that you're not doing right now. And again, I think that kind of accentuates that program hopping mindset, and we don't want that either. But yeah, if you're not having a good time with it, not enjoying your time at the gym, time to change it up, absolutely. Has your progress slowed? Doesn't really sound like it. If you're gaining a pound of muscle a week, that is phenomenal. I would kill to be able to gain a pound of muscle a week still. So if your progress is still at that point, keep going if you're not bored. And if it does start to slow at some point, maybe you start to see it drop off a little and not maybe making that week-to-week pound of muscle gain, then there's your time to change it up. And then my third point that you might not think about firsthand is, do you have any glaring deficiencies? Are there things, now in my case where I focus more on bodybuilding training, I'm watching for actual muscle size and development deficiencies. In my case, I know that my right bicep is a little bit smaller than my left one, and I know that my left pec is a little smaller than my right. It doesn't activate as well. I can tell whenever I'm working out. And so, in your case, if this workout, it's great, I'm making gains, I'm improving the way I want to, I know in the back of my mind, though, that my hips are a little tight and I'm not getting quite as deep in my squats as I want to or I should be. Maybe then, I guess the approach we have to take there is it time to change your goal, right? We're making the muscle gains that we want, but is it time that I start focusing on a little bit of mobility? Or maybe I'm building muscle, but I'm not getting any stronger. Should I take some time on a different program to maybe try to build some strength and do a little bit of max effort exercise as opposed to hypertrophy? And again, we don't want to then start looking at, okay, well, I need to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. We don't want to do that program hopping. We don't want to be changing your goals constantly to the point where you're not making any progress and you're just kind of running in a circle over and over. But after an extended period of time on a program, if you feel like there's another goal that we might want to take a look at and try to take some swings at fixing, that's not a bad idea at all. And so with that in mind, I would say to focus on one goal at a time, or maybe 1 to 2 main goals if you really want to. So where are you at right now in your training? Are we still, I want to gain muscle, so I'm going to keep doing this? Great. Do I need to change it up and work on something else for a little while? We can do that. It's kind of personal preference there and what feels best for you at this time. I think I answered the question pretty well. Moving on. Second question. How do you stay motivated in the gym when you feel like you're not progressing? This is something I think everybody deals with at some point or another. I know I've gone through it. I still go through it all the time. It's so easy to just, again, kind of like I mentioned on the last question, just start going through the motions. I have time to go to the gym. I gotta go to this. I don't even know if it's doing anything. I'm just doing, just going through the motions. I'm there lifting again, whatever. There's a couple things you can do about that. The big one that I tend to focus on that I think works best for me is focus on how far you've come from where you started. And some of you, maybe that's not very far. But if you can look back and see where you began your process as opposed to where you're at now, especially if you're a few years in, you're going to really start to notice that it's working. And the unfortunate side of exercise and fitness is that it is not a quick process. It's a long game. Once you're in it for life. And you're never going to be quite where you want to be, which is a depressing thought. But again, when you can take that step back and say, okay, I'm here, it's not quite where I want to be yet, but I came from here, and now that's a huge improvement. And then that kind of, I think, sometimes ignites that fire a little bit and kind of makes you realize, I may not be seeing the improvement in the day-to-day, but when I can look at it over weeks and months and years, suddenly you realize how far you've actually come. And then the other approach that I can take with this is to set a tangible goal for yourself. I know whenever I'm preparing for a competition, it's very easy for me to get in the gym and get after it and train hard, because I know that on this day I need to be at this percent body fat and look this good or be in this condition before I get on that stage. When you don't have that specific goal, then it kind of becomes less motivating. And you kind of lose track of what you're working towards. And so they have an analogy, or not an analogy, an acronym. I think it's acronym. We're gonna go with acronym. I could be wrong. I'm sorry if I am, for you grammar Nazis out there. To set SMART goals. SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-oriented. Now, that's a very, very intense way of doing it, but it's very effective. And so if you can find a way to create for yourself these kind of SMART goals in your mind, or write them down, every single researcher or a case study, whatever, tells you that if you write down, every self-help guru will tell you that if you write down your goals, you are 1,000 times more likely to achieve them. That's a definite percentage, 1,000 times, or definite number there. That's the real thing. Write down your goals. SMART, attainable. No, I did that wrong. SMART, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-oriented. And that is also, again, going to help you get in the right mindset to get you on track and help you remember why you're doing what you're doing and getting you to that end goal that you have. And once you get there, set new ones that are harder. That's the way it goes. Sorry. And on to our third and final question for this week's Fit Brew Friday. I rotate my workouts through the week between arms, legs, back, and abs. After the respective workouts, that muscle group is sore for the next 2 days. What is the best way to reduce muscle soreness? Sometimes it slows me down in other workouts. I'm not big on taking anti-inflammatories for this. The soreness lets me know that that I had a good workout. That's good. Glad you're having good workouts. There are a million different ways that people recommend to enhance recovery. I'm going to give you the top 5 that I've seen to be the most effective in my own training and in others. First is hydration. We said that last week too. Your muscle, your body is 70% water. So if it is low on water, everything gets thrown off and you just simply cannot recover or perform the way that you should be able to. So drink as much water as you can throughout the day. I'm not going to give you any actual numbers. I try to hit around a gallon or so a day. But any time that you think about it, I always have a water bottle on me. Just be taking in water all day at all times. You'll pee a lot. You can deal with that. It's worth it. Second is nutrition. It kind of goes hand in hand with the water, but if you have poor nutrition, you will have poor recovery. Food is what fuels your body to work and what it fuels to recover. And so if you're not having an appropriate balance of carbs, fats, and proteins in your diet throughout the day and throughout the week, then that recovery is just not going to be quite where you want it to be. Make sure you're getting some, again, this is very general, but pre-workout, make sure you have some carbs, maybe a little bit of fat, not a lot. Post-workout, carbs and protein, huge for recovery. Even something as simple as a protein shake, maybe with some oatmeal mixed into it, is great for after your workout, just to get, again, those carbs and protein in quick, and just make sure that you're starting that recovery process quick afterward. And then obviously you want your fats and protein and everything spread out throughout the day as well. But focusing around your workout helps you to, again, kickstart that recovery process. Third is a little bit more elaborate one, contrast therapy. What that refers to is alternating between heat and cold, in this case on whatever muscle group that you worked. They recommend saunas for this. Saunas are fantastic if you have access to a sauna. Aside from that, a hot tub, or even just a heating pad, on a sore muscle. And what you're looking at is alternating maybe 3 to 5 minutes of hot, and then 3 to 5 minutes of ice. And again, maybe an ice pack, an ice bath if you have access to that. Have fun with that. Or to keep it as simple as you can, just a cold shower. If you can bounce back and forth between a sauna and an ice bath or a cold shower, maybe 3 to 5 times, 3 to 5 minutes apiece, then has been clinically proven to do fantastic things for recovery and help you get feeling back to 100% quicker. Following that, I would say soft tissue work, which whether that is foam rolling on a lacrosse ball, or any kind of implement that digs into that fascia of your muscle and helps kind of loosen everything up and break up that scar tissue. It's going to hurt like crazy while you're doing it, but it's so worth it for the recovery and the amplified blood flow, and just again loosening everything up that's been tightened up from the workout on those sore muscles. That's going to help you really just feel more mobile as you bring your workouts around to the next day where you might use the same muscle groups. And then finally, active rest days. It's easy. The easy analogy for this would be when your legs are sore. The next day, getting on the treadmill or doing some body weight squats or lunges, just hitting some very lightweight, very low resistance, maybe some high rep stuff, just to get blood flowing into those sore muscles. Because at the end of the day, the blood is what is bringing those healing nutrients and healing agents into the muscle to help boost that recovery.